Alright, y'all, welcome back to BrainFLoTv / Hot Topics TV. If you've never been here before, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Today we talk about YNW Melly. There's a new development in the YNW Melly situation. YNW Melly says he is being treated really bad behind bars and he is trying to get out. He has not been found guilty, he has not been convicted, yet he's been in prison for years. Prison, jail, however you want to take it, to me it's almost the same thing. He's been incarcerated, he's been locked up, his freedom has been taken away. And in his particular case, he has been persecuted and prosecuted consistently behind bars. And he needs this to stop. He also needs, if you've listened to his conditions he's in before, he's pretty much almost in solitary confinement, except for his door is open. But there's a guard that's put on him specifically. And the guard is instructed to not talk to him. Also, there are cameras in there that make sure that the guard does not communicate with him. He's not allowed to get any phone calls. He hasn't spoken to his family, close relatives in a couple of years now. His mama, he hasn't had any visitation rights. All those have been taken away from him. Now, on one end of the spectrum, it's like, boo-hoo, that's sad, right? But on the other end of the spectrum, it's like, well, what did you do to be treated like that? And the jail that he is at, Broward County, they've been saying he's been treated like that because of the things that he is doing behind bars. He is a high-risk offender. He is a person who gets around. He has money and clout, and he is in here pretty much running shit. So he's having his way. He's reaching out to people he's not supposed to reach out to. You know, he is doing all the things that they're accusing Puff Daddy of doing, or were accusing him of doing, P. Diddy, is the same things they're accusing YNW Melly of doing. Now, YNW Melly's attorneys, they've had enough. So they went and they recently filed a lawsuit over the jail conditions, and they are demanding his immediate release. Well, guess what? A judge has finally said they are demanding that the Broward County jail, where YNW Melly is incarcerated, explain to a judge why YNW Melly needs to be incarcerated pending trial. Because what they're looking at is sending him home so he can fight this from the outside, and then if he is convicted, he goes to prison. Whew. So here are the details. And it was printed recently in the Miami Herald. It says that the Broward Sheriff's Office must explain why YNW Melly, who has been behind bars in South Florida since 2019, why he should not be released from jail. A federal judge ruled this on Monday. Today is Wednesday, 2 days ago. Weeks after the rapper sued, alleging shitty conditions, violations of his constitutional rights behind bars. Now, the U.S. District Judge Melissa Damian ordered Broward County, or BSO, to file a detailed response by December 6th, explaining to them thoroughly why YNW Melly should not be immediately released from jail, including the judge also demanded that all documents and all transcripts that are necessary for the resolution of this petition, such records would likely shed more light on the conditions of YNW Melly's detention. Meaning, once they explain in length, because the judge doesn't want a shortcut explanation. The judge wants a detailed explanation. Why the hell is he in here since 2019? Why can't he go home and fight this from the outside? I'm sure the judge knows that this is a double murder case. I'm sure the judge knows about all the other charges, obstructing justice, tampering with witnesses, doing stuff behind bars. I'm sure the judge knows it. The judge wants it all in writing though. So a 12-page lawsuit was filed in the Miami Federal Court earlier this month, alleging that YNW Melly has been kept in total isolation with no way to contact the outside world, and has also been barred from meeting with his legal team on several occasions. If this is the truth, then this is a violation of his constitutional rights, some of it anyways. The condition in which Melly is living in, the document states, will shock your conscience and could not be imagined even in a third world country that has no guardrails protecting human decency and dignity. These are words directly from that lawsuit. The lawsuit is 12 pages long. Melly, whose real name is Jamel Demons, is accused of gunning down his childhood friend Anthony Williams and Christopher Thomas Jr. in what the police are saying is an alleged drive-by shooting cover-up after spending early morning hours at a recording studio, and it happened on October 26th of 2018 at a Fort Lauderdale recording studio. Williams and Thomas, both aspiring rappers with the YNW collective, they were known as YNW Sack Chaser and YNW Juvie respectively. Now y'all know you have YNW Melly, and then you have, of course, you have Bortland, YNW Bortland, or Cortland Henry, which is YNW Melly's accomplice. A lot of people are under the impression that YNW Bortland thinks that YNW Melly is going to beat this case, and when he does, he's going to become a superstar, and he's going to reward him to some big recording contracts and take him around the world with him on tour, and he'll be able to live that superstar life as a payment for his loyalty, because he was there, he saw what went down, and he helped to cover it up. However, he is in the same trouble that YNW Melly is in, except YNW Melly is thought to be the trigger man, and YNW Bortland is said to be just going along with it. Of course, there are other people who think differently. They just think that YNW Bortland is straight up afraid of YNW Melly and his connections, and if he goes against the grade and actually says to the prosecutors, listen, I'll tell you the truth, right? When he shot them, I was driving. I was scared as hell. I heard the first round go off in the car, BOW! And I felt something wet hit my face, and it was blood. And it registered to me that Melly was killing our two friends. And then he hit the other person as well, and I thought I was going to be next, so I was scared. If YNW Bortland actually came out and said that, YNW Bortland would still be in trouble at this point because he's held on to that for too long. However, he would not be in as much trouble as he is now. He could very well, at the last minute, strike a deal with the prosecution to put this case on its head, to send YNW Melly up the river, and to free himself, potentially, eventually, right? He won't be freed immediately. He's still going to have to do some time, but he won't be looking at life in prison without parole. This is a double murder that was done in a gruesome manner, right? Okay, so back to YNW Melly. He is facing the death penalty. If convicted, YNW Melly could be sentenced to death by a 8-4 jury vote. They no longer need 12 people on the jury to say guilty and death penalty. 8 of the 12 is good. This is the lowest threshold in the United States of America for a death sentence. And Ron DeSantis recently changed it in the state of Florida, where previously it was 12 that was required to say death penalty or life in prison. His retrial, YNW Melly's retrial, is set to begin in early 2025, where they'll start to choose the jurors or potential jurors. They'll have to go through the whole questioning phase again, try to figure out how they get the right set of jurors to sit on this trial, which I think is going to be super hard to actually find anybody who has never heard of this case. It's going to be hard to find every single person on this jury who is unbiased to this case. However, the case must go on. Now remember, it was already tried and it came to a deadlock standstill, but the situation behind that was as is. Somebody, one of the jurors on the trial, said she didn't give a damn what they showed her. I don't care what kind of evidence they show me. I'm still voting not guilty for him. They should have told that to the judge at the beginning so the judge could get rid of that juror and get another juror in there who was willing to actually listen and then make a decision based on what was shown to them. But the foreperson for the jury and the rest of jurors, they held it to themselves until it was too late. So that trial ended in a mistrial, and now he has to get a retrial, which is going to be starting early 2025, which should pretty much kick off officially mid-2025. Now, attorney Michael Pizzi, he celebrated a legal win on Monday, stating that Melly's family was very pleased that the judge found the petition had merit. Because, you know, the judge could have just kicked it down and been like, I don't want to hear that shit. Stay where he's at until his trial. His trial is coming up soon. He's been in there for years. He'll be all right. A couple of more months won't hurt. So every little win is a big win for them. So the fact that the judge took it seriously and the judge said to the Broward County jail system, hey, you guys have until this time to give me a detailed response filed through the proper channels. Why is he in here, and why is he being held under the conditions he's been held under? This is one more step towards trying to secure bail for him. If they turn in their reason and the judge looks at it and the judge says, ah, come on, he can get bail. He can get bail. I don't see him being that much of a threat. Not much of a threat to the case, that much of a threat to anybody on the outside. Then he could very well be home on bail, right? But in a double murder case where he is the main prime suspect, I find it hard to see a judge actually saying, let him out on bail. He's good. And I'm pretty sure Bukalu and the rest of the prosecution team, they're going to pretty much lay it all on the table, right? The charges he has incurred behind bars, his behavior behind bars, and all the evidence they have towards him already to go to trial with, which they used a lot of it in the last trial, all that. They're going to say to the judge that he's dangerous, he can change the course of this case, he will tamper with witnesses through third parties, even if we put him under monitoring. He has done it inside here under these strict conditions. Imagine if he's out there, he'll get around. He can do anything from either making witnesses disappear to actually reaching out to them, bribing them monetary wise, all that other stuff. They're going to use all the proof that they have, right? Remember YNW Melly's ex-girlfriend? This is why Cortland Henry is back in lockup and they revoked his bond, because he reached out on behalf of YNW Melly, reached out to Melly's ex-girlfriend. Remember when he said, you could be driving a BMW right now or something like that? Like, man, listen, we got money. You stay down with us. You could be driving a nice car right now, a nice BMW SUV, something like that. But instead, or whatever. So they took it as, yo, you trying to bribe that girl. You trying to bribe her with monetary things. I'm sure they will present all this to the judge. And the judge is going to look at it, plus his gang affiliation and everything like that. The judge is going to look at it and say, I don't know. I don't know what the judge is going to say, but I'm thinking the judge might look at it and still say no. So that's where we're at with the YNW Melly case. Now, for the first time, the Broward Sheriff's Office and the jail officials will now have to explain themselves to a federal judge. This never happened before. On why they are refusing to permit Jamel Demons, YNW Melly, to have phone contact and visitation rights and ample time visitation with his lawyers. That all the inmates are guaranteed by the United States Constitution. This is going to be very interesting to see what comes up. The jail conditions, that's something to think about. For 3 years, Melly hasn't been allowed to make phone calls. For 3 years, he hasn't been allowed to have visits with his family, including his mother, Jamie King. And according to the filings, defense attorney Raven Liberty also told the Herald that she's shown up to the jail. And you know that lady, if you saw his first trial, that attorney, the female attorney, the only female attorney that's on his team, right, that's Raven Liberty. She told the newspapers, Miami Herald, that she's been up to the jail and she has been left waiting for substantial periods of time on several occasions. The circumstances on Melly's detention stems from the 2022 grievance report that a fellow inmate filed against YNW Melly, in which the inmate claimed that Melly was planning to escape by having one of his attorneys bring in handcuff keys. According to the lawsuit, detention officers, in response to the plaintiff, searched Melly's cells, seized commissary items and jail-issued clothing, and a further investigation, the lawsuit says, concluded that there was no wrongdoing on Melly's part. There were only another inmate in there trying to tell lies on him. The rapper's attorneys also said that the issue, and they said that this is why they started locking him down and treating him like that, because another inmate told a lie on him and said that he was trying to escape and he was going to have his attorneys bring in handcuff keys so he could get up out of there. They found it to be not true, but they still have him under the same conditions. At one point, YNW Melly was transferred to another unit where he was only allowed outside his cell for 1 hour per day, and he had no contact with other inmates. This is according to the same filings. Now, while at another Broward County jail earlier this year, Melly was housed on a floor all by himself in a cell without a door. A member of the sheriff's office emergency response team guarded him around the clock, and the jail staff was instructed not to speak to him at all. That is creepy. That is creepy. Now, in a statement, Liberty, the attorney, she told the Miami Herald that it was due time that the Broward County Jail is forced to address this unconstitutional conditions, which range from inhumane isolation he endures to the impermissible interference with his access to his defense counsel. These are rights that are supposed to be guaranteed to every citizen, even those of the Broward County, Florida jail, she said. Now, it's unfortunate that Broward County is allowing this gross abuse of power by certain employees to go unchecked. And hopefully, this is the beginning of change. Not only for Mr. Demons or for YNW Melly, but for other inmates who are going through the same thing and are housed in the same system. That's the latest update on what's popping with YNW Melly. Listen, I already stated my opinion on all this. You know, if you follow my videos, you know. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. And do you think he is going to finally get bail? Or do you think that the judge is about to say, nah, you still stay until your trial is here? I'll catch y'all on the next video. Hit that subscribe button. All right? I'm out. Peace.